alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I will be shedding some light on the aspect of performance of Eid prayer in the deen of Islam. So this is a very important topic looking at the time we are in now. That is the month of Ramadan. And we know at the completion of the fasting of the month of Ramadan, what will follow is one of the Eids in Islam. Islam has, some Eids that are provided for the Muslims to observe. There is the Eid al-Fitr, which is conducted after the completion of the fasting of the month of Ramadan. And then we have the Eid al-Adha, which is conducted, at the completion of the rites of Hajj. That is on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah. And then we have the Eid al-Usbu'. That is the usual weekly Eid. That is the Friday Eid. So these are the Eids known in Islam. Because performance of Eid is an act of ibadah. And for every religion, they have their own festivals. So that's why we Muslims, we are expected to, know our Eids and to try as much as possible to observe them in line with the teachings of the religion of Islam based on the Quran and as explained by the Messenger ﷺ in the authentic Sunnah. So that's why scholars are saying that since the Messenger ﷺ gave that instruction and even women are not exempted from it, it means that act of ibadah is obligatory. They used to even, bring the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Indeed, the one who purified himself has prospered. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ. And then the one who, invoked the name of his Lord. He made zikr of his Lord. They said that was on Eid day. People that go out, supplicating, invoking the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, doing the takbir and tahleel, going to the Eid. Then fasalla, and he observed prayer. They said it means Salatul Eid. That is, they made it specific to that, some scholars. So to quote the long story short, Eid prayer is a very, very strong act of ibadah in the deen of Islam. And there are a lot of things governing the conduct of Eid in Islam. As I said, if it is Eid al-Fitr, it is observed on the first day of Shawwal, that is at the completion of fasting. It's like Muslims are using that opportunity to show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving the opportunity to complete the fasting of the month of Ramadan. Because Allah said, after explaining the rulings of fasting, He said, وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةِ. All those things that Allah explained regarding fasting is for you to be able to complete the number of days. وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. And so that you mention the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doing the takbir on Eid day as you are going to the Eid. So the Eid al-Fitr is observed on that day. The Eid al-Adha is on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah. So a Muslim is expected, to respect the Eid, to prepare for it by way of, maybe buying new clothes for the Eid. And then when it is the Eid day, the Muslim is expected to take his bath as part of the etiquettes, wear his new cloth if there is means for that, or very clean one, apply perfume, that is for the men, not for the women, and then go out to the Eid celebrating Allah's remembrance, mentioning Allah's name, doing the takbir, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Wallahu Akbar, Walillahi alhamd. If it is Eid al-Fitr, the sunnah is, to eat something before going. That is the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take some pieces of palm dates, in odd numbers before going to the Eid al-Fitr. But if it is Eid al-Adha, the sunnah is to delay one's breakfast until after the Eid. That is not fasting, because fasting is prohibited on Eid day. In the sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, part of the days that one is not allowed to fast is the Eid days. So that is on that. Then part of the sunnah is when you are going out to the Eid, you continue to do your dhikr as I said. And then when you get to the masjid, when you get to the al-musalla, because Eid prayer is normally observed not in the normal masjid, it is observed at the musalla. That is the sunnah, at the outskirts of the city, except if maybe there is no provision for that, then Muslims can observe their Eid at the Jawamid, that is Jum'ah Masajid in the town, or maybe if there is rain or any excuse. But normally you go to the Musalla, and at the Musalla several Masajid, Jum'ah Masajid will come together at one Musalla. And that is part of the symbols of Islam. When you see the number of Muslims trooping to the Eid, it shows the greatness and the power of the religion of Islam. So when a Muslim gets to the Eid, there is no nafila before or after Eid prayer. The sunnah of the Messenger ﷺ is that once he gets to the masjid or the musalla, he starts the Eid prayer. So there is no nafila. It's not like dhuhr, that you observe 2 rakahs or 4 rakahs before dhuhr, or 2 rakahs or 4 rakahs after dhuhr. No, it has no nafila before or after. The only thing the scholars are saying, if it is going to be observed in the normal masjid, then you can observe Tahiyyatul Masjid, having come to the masjid. That one is, it has its own separate provision. So Eid prayer is performed as soon as the Imam arrives. And the way it is performed is that it has 2 rakahs, no iqama, no adhan, and the recitation is open. So once the Imam comes, you will go to the front and then make the takbiratul ihram, and the ma'mum will do the same thing. The first rak'ah will have 7 takbirat, including the takbiratul ihram. So after the takbiratul ihram, the Imam will add 6 other takbirs, and the ma'mum will be following him. After each of the takbir, he will also say the takbir. Then recitation of Fatiha and Surah follows. Then for the second rak'ah, after the takbir of standing, then the Imam will recite 5 other takbirs. That is, in all, there are 12 takbirat for the Eid prayer. Then the Imam will terminate the prayer and then stand up to deliver the sermon, in which he will remind the Muslims of the favor of Allah of completing fasting of the month of Ramadan, and then having seen the day of Eid. And then he reminds the Muslims generally concerning the state of the Ummah worldwide. And then supplications are observed and the rest of that. Then that is the end of the Eid prayer. Muslims will now come back and continue with the celebration. In Islam, anything that will make Muslims happy on that day is allowed, except if it is in contravention of the rules of Islam. For example, mix up between men and women, doing things that are activities of the kuffar and the rest of that. Otherwise, anything that is lawful is allowed. The Messenger ﷺ used to allow even some, outsiders to come and display their kind of place in the masjid when it is Eid time. And he will say it is for us to show them that this is our Eid day. So, but a Muslim is not expected to celebrate Eid with anything that is forbidden, either food items or musical instruments or anything of that nature. And then visitations are encouraged. Visit your friends, your relatives, and the rest of that. But especially these days, we have to take care of our children. You don't just allow your children to move anyhow because it is Eid. People do kidnap children. Children will easily get missing and the rest of that. Especially the girl child. We have to be very careful. They should not be allowed to be visiting anyhow. When they go, we should know where they are going, and they should observe, the Islamic dress code for women. And that is what we are expected to do. Part of the sunnah is when you are going to the Eid, you take this way. When you are coming back, you are expected to change the road. It's part of the sunnah. The Messenger ﷺ used to do it like that. And they say part of the wisdom is the angels you meet on this road, they will bear witness in your favor on the day of Al-Qiyamah. And then the other ones you meet on the other road too, they will do the same thing. So you will get a lot of reward by so doing. So this is in brief what I can say about Eid. Due to time, maybe some questions may bring out some other issues, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.